So we're looking at USGS here for all magnitudes for the last 24 hours. We're showing 716. Of those, 39 were 2.5 magnitude or higher. Now at the event area, we're showing 479 here right now. And this morning, when I took my screenshot, we were showing 487 and 720 earthquakes worldwide. Let's see if I can get to that. Oh, this is sea ice. That's the concentration. Goes through the 29th. That's pathetic. Okay, here, 487 of 720, and I took this at 9:40 this morning. Here's the here's the earthquake that was in Iceland. It was a 4.2. It came in at 5:55 yesterday afternoon, my time, Pacific time. And it didn't show up on the map until after I'd finished my show last night. And so that's why it's not on the map now. But I wanted to get a picture of it, so I did. So let's see what's about to come off the map. This 4.7 at West Chile Rise came in last night at 7:10 p.m. We can see it's on this red line just to the west of South America in the Pacific Ocean. And then here we have some at the event area that are about to come off. What time? Oh, not until 9 o'clock. Okay, so we've got plenty of time to start wherever we want. So let's go ahead and look at these two in South America. Here's a 4.2 near Diego de Almagro, Chile at 3:06 this morning, 108 kilometers deep. And a 4.3 at Calama, Chile at 9:42 this morning, at 108 kilometers deep. So same depth. Just anyway. Then up here in the Atlantic Ocean, we've got activity. Here's a 4.9 central mid-Atlantic ridge that came in at 8:38 this morning. And then a 5.2 central mid-Atlantic ridge at 11:57 this morning. Then down here, this it could be part of the Caribbean. It's on the Caribbean plate. A 3.1 at Gross Islet, Santa Lucia at 10:05 this morning. And then of course we had this one up in Iceland yesterday. Coming on across. Here's one. This is on land at Papua New Guinea, at 4.5 near Madang, Papua New Guinea at 2:02 this morning. And then this is 5.1 near Kangen, Indonesia. This came in at 6:17 this morning. And we saw a 5 point something here, down here last night too. So this is all in the same area. Then we've got 2 on this line, a 4.6 near Marizo Village, Guam at 5:56 this morning, and a 4.7 at Yigo Village, Guam at 12:37 this morning. Then Japan, this one was in the ocean, a 5.0 near O'Hara, Japan at 3:14 this afternoon. I don't anticipate any damage from that, because since it being in the ocean, and they're pretty hardened. Their infrastructure is pretty hardened to earthquakes. And at 5.0, unless it was really something bigger, I don't know. Here's a 4.1 near Kadirli, Turkey, on land at 2:03 this afternoon. And that's all for the international earthquakes, it looks like. Let's go to all magnitudes, and Hawaii is showing 9 here today. So we've still got them over here at Kilauea area. This is, this is pretty much in between Mauna Loa. Here's the crater for Mauna Loa, and here's the crater for Kilauea. So it's on the flank, but the reporting station is Kilauea. So that's a 2.3 at a negative 0.8 kilometer depth. Here's a 2.4 near Mauna Loa that just came in. Here's a 1.9, 1.8, 1.7. Got 2 here, 2.3, and a 1.8. And then a 2.1 Pahala. Then a 1.7 up here near Honaunau-Napupu. So still showing activity here. I mean, it hasn't stopped. 2.4 there. So that was 1.7. So, that's still releasing. Things are happening there. Now here in the Caribbean, we're showing 14 here today. I'll just call them off. 2.3, 2.4, 2.0, 2.9, that's getting up there. 2.0, 2.3, 2.5, 2.6, 1.9, 3.1, 1.9, 1.7, 2.7, and 2.6. So that 3.1 was on land near Boca de Yuma. Probably not enough to do damage, but it's showing lots of movement there. Now, coming up to Alaska, we're showing 84 here today. Of those, we're seeing 2 that are 2.5 magnitude or higher. Here's a 2.6 at Koktovik and a 3.2 at Big Lake, and that's near Anchorage. So the rest of these are much smaller. So we've got some here in the Aleutian Islands, and not surprised considering we saw the sulfur dioxide coming up. We've got 3 over here near Simisopoknoi Island. These are small. These are ones, and here's a microquake of -0.1. Here's a 1.7 at Adak. We've got 2 here, -0.7 and a -0.3 at Adak, and these are both at negative depths, meaning the epicenter's up in the chamber. This is a volcano, and so this is the magma moving up into the chamber of the volcano, making the earthquakes. Now coming on up, here's a 0.9 Chignik Lake. Here we are coming into the Cook Inlet, and this is where we have Old Iliamna volcano and Redoubt volcano, and a lot of activity around Redoubt and Nikiski. Here's a 2.2, 2.4, here's a 1.7. All of these are surrounding this sulfur dioxide release that we're seeing on cams up here in Alaska. Here's that 3.2 near Anchorage. And then we're seeing, like, these are ones, 1.3, 1.1, 2.0. The little bit bigger dots are into the 2s. Here's a 2.3. Here's a 2.4. So this cluster, we already looked at that at Redoubt. So we can see them spreading up through the state. Here's one that just happened at 1.2 Manly Hot Springs. Peppered around, just spreading out. Here's Kobuk. We're seeing 9 at Kobuk today. 1.8s are the highest today. And then up here in northern Alaska, we've got 9. 2.4 Arctic Village, 2.6 Koktovik, 2.1 Koktovik, and 2.1 Koktovik. Then up here in the little armpit, we've got a couple, 1.7 and a 1.6, both at Yakutat. So remember, we saw sulfur dioxide releasing all along this coastline, all along this red line. This is where the North American plate meets the Pacific plate on this red line. Then here's the Juan de Fuca plate. This is the Cascadia subduction zone, and this is what's sliding. Everything is sliding here. This slow slip all the way down this North American coastline. So, coming down into the lower 48, we're seeing 594 here today. of those 477 are at the event area. So 594 minus 477, so we're showing 120 not at the event area. So we're going to start here in Oklahoma and Kansas, and we've got 14 here. So we're having a little swarm at Fairview, it looks like, a cluster, 2.1, 1.2, 2.3. That's all at Fairview. 1.0 at Blanchard, 1.6 Crescent, 1.1 Perry. Here's his 1.7 in Anthony, Kansas, 0.8 at Stroud, Oklahoma, and then some. These are at Alva, 2.1, 1.5, 1.7, and now at Kingfisher we have a 3.4. That's the largest one. That came in at 4:25 this afternoon. A 1.7 and a 1.8. That last one came in at 5:50. So it looks like this cluster might have just started, but we're seeing them come in like 2s and 3s and all in the same place. I mean 2 or 3 all in, well, like we've got 3 here, and 3 down at Kingfisher so far. So we'll see what that pattern says, see what happens. Next we had one in Colorado, a 2.8 at Alamosa East, Colorado. This came in at 12:48 this morning. Now Utah's clear. Old Faithful, nothing at Old Faithful today. Now in the Yellowstone area today, we're showing only 2. We've got a 1.4 at Challis, Idaho, and a 1.1 at Manhattan, Montana. Now coming into the Pacific Northwest, it's eerily quiet, and you know, it kind of makes me wonder what's up, and if there really are earthquakes that are not being reported, you know, that's one thing, but if there are really no earthquakes, then that means that the pressure is building. And that's not good, because then when it goes, it's going to be huge. So here's the tremor map from yesterday. The final number on the tremors was 117 from yesterday, and we saw them clustering down here north of Medford, around the Roseburg area, and west of Medford. This was in Oregon. And let's see if they've got anything for today yet. Yes, well, look at that. They've got 291 registered so far for today. And same areas right up here, north of Roseburg and west of Roseburg and just west of Medford. So what we're seeing these clusters here west of Medford and up here by Roseburg. So it could be that this Cascadia plate is moving and maybe it's kind of stuck or something. I don't know. But it's shaking. We've got the harmonic tremors. It's shaking. And then look down here. We've had, look at all these earthquakes lined up all the way down the San Andreas fault line. See? And so this is causing these tremors up here, but no earthquakes. So it's kind of concerning. So I think we're getting closer to the huge release that everyone's talking about. I think we're getting a lot closer to that. So let's cover Nevada first. I'm going to start with this 0 magnitude up in the mountains north of Incline Village. Then Hawthorne's eerily quiet. Look at this. Are you kidding? That's so quiet. And then down here in southern Nevada we have a few. We've got 6 here today, and these are small. The largest one is this 1.6 at Pahrump. So that's kind of spooky to see such little activity. Then we've got 2 near 2.2 at Courant. This came in this morning at 4:24, and a 2.1 at Warm Springs. This came in at 12:53 this afternoon. And that's it. That's it for Nevada. So that's kind of creepy to not see any more activity than that. Here's a 1.6 at Lee Vining, California. Now let's look at Mammoth Lakes. We've got 15 here today. Most of these are under 1. Here's a 1.8. And here's a 1.7. Those are the highs. The rest are under 1s. So what I'd say, 15. So that's pretty good size movement. And that Lee Vining, that was up here at Mono Lake, or Mono Lake is how you're supposed to say it. Here's a stray of 0.4. Now down here was a 3.0 near Fort Irwin, California. Here's a 1.7 at Boron. Let's go on into Southern California minus the event area. We're seeing 30 here today. Let's see if any of these are 2.5 magnitude or higher. Yes, we're showing a 2.6 at Borrega Springs. That's right here. That's the highest one, or the biggest one. 1.9 just south of Salton Sea. So 30, so they're clustering right here. You see this cluster? This is at Anza? Anza, yes, this is a clustering place. We've got them all clustered up there. 19, a couple on the edges, but mainly right there. And these are in the 1s and under range. So most of them are right there, and then they're just peppered around. Okay, we're going to come back to the event area in a minute. We're going to come up the San Andreas fault line, a 1.2 Templeton, 3.1 Colame. Now see, these are getting higher or bigger. Here's a 2.4 Parkfield and a 1.5 Parkfield. Here's a 1.6 Pinnacles, 0.7 Pinnacles, 1.9 Chualar, 1.8 Diablo, 0.9 at Napa, 1.9 Fort Ross, 1.8 Brook Trails. We've got 26 at the geysers here today. This 1.6 is the biggest one. The rest are like low ones or under. There's a 0.7. So make sure that I didn't miss any there. Then look up here. Look up here. Here we go. 1.8 Brook Trails. 1.6 Redway. This came in last night at 7 p.m. 1.3 Rio Dell. This came in today at 1:33 this afternoon. And a 2.2 Rio Dell at 5:10 this morning. So these are right on this fulcrum point, right where the San Andreas fault line meets up with this Juan de Fuca plate. And this is a very crucial area, and a lot of pressure goes on there, and so we could see a lot of movement there. Okay, now okay, I've already got it pulled up here. This is the event area of Ridgecrest and Cyrils, California, where they had the 6.4 and then the 7.1 earthquakes back July 4th and July 5th of this year. So it's still extremely active. I mean, 476 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. So they're coming in as fast as they're falling off the map. This morning I saw 487. So there is, and see how it's spreading out to the east. It's still coming along this line from southeast to northwest, and then clustering up here in the Coso area and Olancha area. That's that 3.6. We also got a little cluster up here. This is also Olancha. We're still seeing some clusters down here at Johannesburg and California City. And let's zoom out a little bit. And you know, these others can be as a result of the activity here. It could be kind of spreading out, I'm thinking. So I'm thinking the pressure is building. So we'll see what happens. What just came in? 2.3 Holdenville. I don't remember calling that one off. 1.8 Kingfisher. Alright. Okay, so I forgot to show the 2.5 magnitude or higher here in the event area. I like to show that too. We've got 14, and I'll just call them off. 2.5, 2.5, 2.7, 2.7, 2.8, 2.5, 2.5, 3.8. That was at Ridgecrest at 7:35 this morning. 2.8, 2.8, 2.6, 2.6, 3.5 up here at Olancha. This happened at 3:24 this afternoon. And a 2.5 at Ridgecrest. That's the last one, this size, that came in at 4:19. So they're still pretty good size. So That's it for our earthquake report.